What's up, guys? EDA Talk Sports here. And we're going to be doing a preview of the UFC 304 card, a card that I am really excited for, not only because it's being held in England, obviously I'm from the UK, but also we have two great champions from the UK who are going to be showing out: Tom Aspinall, Leon Edwards, in two massive fights. So we're going to go through the card. I'm going to start from top to bottom. We'll look over all of these fights, don't you worry. At the bottom, early prelims, kicking Honor, who came in with a lot of hype into the UFC. She's obviously Irish, Conor McGregor links. Came in with a lot of hype. Performance didn't go quite as she expected. Lost in a decision, and she's going to be coming up against Alice, who is actually having her return into the UFC, and she's on a 5-fight winning streak. Again, no stronger than I do about Alice, but it's going to be quite interesting to see how that fight turns out. And again, I've seen a couple of his fights, sure about his opponent. Big weight, strong heavyweight. It's going to be interesting to see how he gets on, and hopefully it's get a lot of people off their feet. Another fight that I'm looking at, and to me this is one of the early prelims, is Muhammad versus Manel Camp. And two crazy individuals, and I say that with actually respect. Muhammad Makayev is one of my favourites. A lot of love for him. Humble guy, shows his class. People might not like his style. I'm a fan of how he performs just by how dominant and how well he performs given skill set. Manel Camp, again, someone who's really talented, great striker, all-round game is pretty much there. He hasn't seemed to have as many fights as he probably should have. In my opinion, he should have already fought for a title or progressed from that point, but he hasn't. He's pulled out of fights. Other people have pulled out of fights, but he needs to get that traction going on. And a win against Muhammad Makayev, who, to be honest, why he shouldn't get a title shot. So it's a big fight for Camp 30, Makayev 23. Makayev taller as well, with a bigger reach, and with his wrestling game, if he can stand up battles with ML, I don't see any reason. I'm hoping he does get the job done. Big, still undefeated, and I'd love to see him continue to rise for the UK. Another one, Elliot, I've seen a couple of times. Good fighter, and be pretty good as well. We'll see more and get into more of that when we review and get more with that particular into the prelim. 3 fights. Molly McCann, again, we know about Molly's story. She's hearts of UK fight fans and UFC fight fans, and again, she comes in with a lot of these fights with a height disadvantage. She's very small. She doesn't get the nickname Meatball by accident. She's a real fighter, but she lacks some of the pedigree that other female fight. And in Bruna, Brazil, I think again it's going to be. But I think if Molly can stay on her, if she gets taken down, well, and so it's going to be interesting to see what the profile is of Bruna. I've never watched her before, if I'm honest, but I've watched Molly and I know her deficiencies and I know her strengths. It needs to be standing up. It needs to be a rough, tough battle. That's where she normally shows her value and shows her class, and it'll be interesting to see how this fight goes. But definitely one from the prelims that I'll be keeping an eye on as well. Nathaniel Wood versus Daniel Pineda. I watched both guys before previously. I'm a big fan of Nathaniel Wood. Everything about his game except for one thing. He sometimes doesn't go for the finish when he needs to be. You can see his significant strike output. Amazing. You can see his accuracy down. He's there for the battle. He's to fight. He's not afraid to take it to the ground. But he needs to look for that finish, whether it's via submission or by knockout, a lot more. It's going to be very interesting. Pineda, I've watched a couple of times as well. 2 wins since 2020. Nathaniel Wood, get the job done. Climb those featherweight rankings. Get yourself a big matchup, and we are very excited to see what is coming up in your future. Arnold Allen, Giga Chiskatse will kick off main event. 2 great fighters. Striker has been outdone in some of his previous matchups as he's climbed around UFC. Maybe he's been exposed to a degree. Arnold Allen, one of my favourite fighters. Good on the feet, yes. Good on the ground, yes. Yes, I love Arnold Allen, and I think as he grows in confidence, I think he just needs to be more aggressive. I think at the Max fight, he needed to take more risks, but in every other fight he's been in his class, he's shown his quality. There's a big height difference for comes a big reach. For me, Arnold Allen, get him down, wear him out, pressure him. The game plan for Arnold Allen, and I'm hoping he shines. He not only wins, but he wins in style. Next fight we have is Christian Leroy versus Gregory Rodriguez. I've watched Greg a lot more than I have Christian Leroy Duncan. Christian Leroy's one of his fights. He performed very, very well. Very impressed with what he did. Gregory Rodriguez has his ups and downs, but he pulls it out of the fire so much. Like, you see him in fights, you think he's losing, he comes back and pulls it out. That's where he's winning, and he has a stumble. I'm going to go with Rodriguez here, maybe because I've seen Christian much. But yeah, I'm putting my stock in him. Rodriguez, with the experience, with the age advantage, with the height advantage. The reduced reach, which could come into effect. Very long arms for Christian Duncan. So we shall see, but a lot of hope Rodriguez can get the job done. We're now going to be moving on to the next fight on the card, which is King Bobby Green versus Paddy Pimblett. And it's again a fight that two very, very unique characters. Paddy, we know. I'm not the biggest Paddy fan, if I'm going to be honest with you. I think as he was coming from Cage Warriors into the UFC, I've seen his fights. I've seen him perform really good on the ground, very proficient, a lot of submissions. But whether it's his personality, whether it's his character ways, whether it's the way he carries himself, haven't gravitated to him. And I'm putting for a King Green victory, if I'm honest with you. But Bobby Green has had his own successes and frustrations in the UFC. 32-15-1, a veteran in the UFC, showed out in his last performance and showed that he's still got it. But this is a young man's game, and Paddy is significantly younger. He's got better reach. He's got a better ground game. He doesn't want this fight to stay striking for too long. And for him, he's going to need to get this guy down to the ground and keep Bobby there. Again, I'm going to go based on what I like to see and based on who I like. I'm going to go with King Bobby Green to get the job done. Moving on to our co-main event, a big one in the heavyweight division, Tom Aspinall versus Curtis Blaydes. And guys, this is a rematch, the second time these guys are fighting. In the first fight, we saw Tom go down with a knee injury. He was sidelined for a long period, came back in a blaze of glory and established himself as now the interim heavyweight champion of the world. And I couldn't be prouder of him. I don't know him personally, never met him, but he carries himself like a champion. He performs like a champion. And I've watched each and every one of his UFC fights since he's joined the company. And I knew from moment one he would be a champion. He's got a champion's aura. He's got a champion's personality. He's got a champion's skill set. There's not much in MMA, in the UFC, that Tom can't do. He's coming up against one of his hardest stylistic matchups in Curtis Blaydes, elite grappler. Shows some deficiencies in his defensive grappling against Almeida, but you cannot knock Curtis Blaydes. He, again, as you can see by his takedown average, he takes down that's people at a high rate. If you look at the takedown accuracy, Tom Aspinall has 100% takedown accuracy, averaging around 3.5 takedowns per fight. Crazy. And if he continues with that, that will put a lot of the heavyweights in a difficult position because he strikes better than most. He's fast, he's powerful, but also he can take down, and he has a great jiu-jitsu game. I'm going with Tom. Again, I think it's going to be one of his hardest matchups outside John Jones. But I love Tom, if I'm being honest with you. I love the way he carries himself. I love his skill set, and he's a champion that we can definitely be proud of. So, tough matchup, but I'm going to have Tom to get it done in the second round. Moving on to our main event, and this is one that if you're not excited for, I don't know. Leon Edwards, Belal Muhammad, another rematch. The second time they are both fighting, and the bad blood has increased, especially coming from Belal's side. He doesn't like Leon at all, and maybe he thinks it's because he's being ducked. I personally think it's just because the UFC doesn't rate Belal and he's directing his anger towards Leon. If the UFC wanted Belal and Leon to fight before this, trust me, they would have. It's easier to direct your anger at your opponent than the people that are paying you. Belal, pressure fighter, great at what he does. Real nuisance. He's actually proven me wrong. He's gone on this five-fight win streak, and I was sure he would be beaten by at least 2 or 3 of those people. Vicente Luque, Sean Brady. He's proved it, and he's proved a doubter like me wrong. And this is another opportunity for him to prove me wrong, because I'm going with Leon Rocky Edwards. I believe in Leon. I think he's completely well-rounded. His defensive grappling is amazing. His striking is on the next level. But it's going to be risky. Belal is a pressure fighter. Can he deal with that pressure? Can he maneuver? Can he get out of those awkward places? If he gets taken down, can he get up? He's shown against Colby. He's shown against Kamaru. He can deal with some of the best wrestlers. But Belal is a pressure monster. And it's going to be difficult for Leon. And he's fighting for a dream. Leon's achieved this dream. Will that have a factor? We shall see. But again, recapping the main card, I'm going with Leon Rocky Edwards, our champ, to get it done. I'm going with Tom Aspinall to get it done. King Bobby Green to get it done against Paddy Pimblett. I'm going with Gregory Rodriguez to win in his middleweight matchup against Christian Leroy Duncan, and in the fight that's going to kick off the main card, Arnold Allen versus Giga Chikadze, I'm going to go for Arnold Allen. Guys, make sure to leave your like, subscribe, leave your comments. Who do you think is going to win? What is your fight of the night? For me, personally, I'm going with two of the best that the heavyweight division has to offer, because I think it's going to be exciting and we didn't get a clear conclusion. Tom Aspinall, Curtis Blaydes is going to be really interesting, and how does Tom respond if he wins? For me, a call out to John Jones is imperative. Your foundation that you are the real champion, you are the most active champion, you're the young, hungry lion, and put a bit of shade on that John Jones-Stipe matchup. Guys, again, hopefully you've liked it, and I will catch you soon.